It is still some mixed results across the state. Reno, the numbers in Reno are almost back to normal and where we would expect them to be. And I can say that many of the corridors in Reno we're seeing are above 19 levels even. So it's just a little bit of a split across Reno. Elko, those numbers have remained strong for much of the pandemic and largely led by trucks. Las Vegas, again, this is through the end of May. So the full reopening hadn't really hit yet. And so I anticipate that we'll see those Vegas numbers really start to bounce back here in the next coming months. But just letting you know, we're going to continue to keep track of that because it is an indicator of our revenue situation. So we're going to continue to monitor it. And if we see something that's alarming, we'll make sure to let you know. Next slide, please. Just a real quick update on the ledge session. We're out. We were down here. We were talking a little bit about how good it is to be out of the legislative session. Our 4 bills, as you recall, were passed and signed by the governor. Thank you, Governor. One of the bills that we were following very closely, AB 413, was also passed, and we're excited to start the work on that. We are working right now on convening an advisory working group to study and ultimately propose recommendations to the legislature on a long-term solution to the sustainability of the transportation funding within Nevada, in particular the State Highway Fund. That study will not just look at funding, but it's also going to be looking at social and user equity, the imperative that we have as a state to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions from the transportation sector, being that we're the highest contributor, and the role of land use and smart growth strategies in decreasing transportation costs and promoting efficiency, and really improving some of that equity. So we're currently receiving applications for voting members and plan to convene the first meeting in July. Monthly meetings will take place over an 18-month period and culminate with a study that will be submitted to the legislature in advance of the 2023 session. We're really working hard to determine the impacts that other newly signed legislation will have on our department, and I anticipate having a report to the board on all of the rest of the legislation next month. And then next slide, please. We recently changed our communication strategy when it comes to social media, in particular in Twitter. We previously had one Twitter account at NevadaDOT, and so if you were in Carson or Reno, you got all of the stuff that was going on I-15, and if you were in Las Vegas, you found out about every single wind event in the Washoe Valley, and those are kind of crazy when they're happening. So we've divided the 3 accounts. So we have NevadaDOT Vegas, NevadaDOT Reno, and NevadaDOT Elko, really representing the rest of the rural state, not just Elko. So I encourage our members of the public who are listening to tune in. That's where you'll be able to better refine what information you're getting. We'll keep our NevadaDOT account, and that'll have broader, more statewide implications, and occasionally retweet some of the local accounts. And then lastly, I just wanted to, next slide, EJ, I wanted to just let you know how much our program is contributing in the economy. Infrastructure job numbers from contracts between October and May represented 3,488 job years, so almost 3,500 job years. This particular agenda has 155 job years. We don't have any construction contracts in it, so it's a little bit lighter this month. For the total after this board meeting, if everything's approved, 3,643 job years being supported through our program. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Director. We appreciate it. Do we have any questions of Director Swallow regarding the report? Seeing some lighting up there. I don't know what that means. Who's the B?
I think we're okay. I think that's a team member or consultant. It might be a contractor.
Okay. I will move on from the director's report to item number 5, consideration of approval of agreements of over $300,000 possible action.
Yes, thank you, Governor. We have 6 agreements for your consideration on this agenda.
Do you want to do these one at a time or together?
We typically, I'll read through them, and then I think we typically take them as a group.
Okay, good.
But if anyone wants to talk about them independently, we can. The first one is the recommended consultant is 4Leaf Consulting for a $4.5 million agreement to help with the crew augmentation for the Las Vegas Viaduct project that is getting ready to start here in the Valley in Las Vegas. The second one, the recommended selected consultant is CA Group, and that's for roughly $2.6 million. And this one is to look at and pilot on potential new hours on our HOV system in Las Vegas. We anticipate that within the first 6 months, they'll be collecting data and determining what potential hours might be able to be piloted. It's possible that the recommendation will say that they need to remain the same, but if they do, early next year, we anticipate a pilot operations of hours will be rolled out, and then they'll continue to give us quarterly updates on safety, occupancy, use of those HOV lanes, and then hopefully have a recommendation within 2 years if we can roll back permanently to the hours they tested, or if there's another adjustment. And we will be making adjustments as needed. So for instance, if we see a significant degradation of safety, we might roll it back immediately, but we're going to be monitoring that. So that's a little more detail on that one, just because I figured you might have some questions. The third one is for Tate Snyder Kinsey Architects, and this is for the architectural engineering, design, and construction administrative services for a new maintenance station in Lovelock. The current maintenance station is inadequate, and this will not only provide us with a properly functioning maintenance station, but it will also relocate it out of the downtown area of Lovelock. The fourth one is Resource Systems Group, that's the consultant, and it will complete a statewide travel demand model update for us to get us up to date and current and better in alignment with our local partners. The fifth one is actually a on-call contract. So there are 3 consultants selected: Jacobs Engineering Group, Kleinfelder Inc., and Newfield Company, and that's for on-call geotechnical services. And the 6th one is actually an amendment for Jacobs Engineering Group, and they are the consultant that is currently working on the implementation of our long-range One Nevada plan to bring us to a data-driven project selection and prioritization process. And so it's an amendment for Jacobs.
I just have a very general question. What are we doing with the Lovelock station that's there now?
I don't know. Jeff, Mario, I don't know who we have up there that might be able to answer that question.
I can answer that.
Darren, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the question, Governor. Darren Tedford, Deputy Director. The plans for, it's about a half of a block that the current maintenance station occupies. And it is, as the director said, right in the residential downtown area of Lovelock. So we're looking at options. That is property that we own. We might put employee housing there to be able to provide something local instead of commuting to that spot, or we're going to figure out other plans for it.
Including potentially selling the land.
When will you come back to us with a plan regarding that? Do we have a timeline on this whole deal?
So I can provide a timeline on the overall project. We are not yet, I don't believe, I guess we are funded for construction. So as we move forward with it and we have a better timeline on when the construction will start, we will have a better idea of what we're looking at. So yeah, we'll keep you apprised.
Do we have any other questions on these 6 contracts? Anybody on the phone have a question on these contracts? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, do I have a motion on item number 5?
Move to.
We have a motion for approval on item number 5. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the person with the V, it keeps beeping and coming in and out. Are you trying to say something?
Maybe we can mute them. Bill, can you try and mute them?
Okay. Item number 6, contracts, agreements, and settlements. The board may delegate this authority to the director. This is an information item. Are there any questions of this? Did you want to make a presentation? Do we have any questions on the phone for item number 6? Seeing none. Moving on. I'll close item number 6. Item number 7, consideration of approval to replace equipment in excess of $50,000 in accordance with NRS 4008.389.
Members of the board, as you know, we try to bring all of our equipment purchases to you one time per year, and we anticipate that time for this coming fiscal year will be at our July board meeting. However, as part of our equipment purchase of the fiscal year 2021, which closes at the end of the month, we're asking for approval to buy a new oil distributor truck. The previous one was damaged beyond repair in a crash. We do have enough revenue in or enough allocation in our equipment budget so that we can afford to replace that during this fiscal year. And so we're asking for an additional approval of this particular piece of equipment.
Do we have any questions on item number 7, the replacement of one piece of equipment?
Yes, Governor, this is Lieutenant Governor Kate Marshall. May I ask a question?
Certainly.
Good morning. Director Swallow, I wanted to know if there were any equipment, particularly any flood-related equipment that you might need to replace, but were not choosing to replace.
You know, at this time, I do not know if we have any, but if there is other equipment that we need, as I mentioned, we will be coming through with our fiscal year 2022 request in the July board meeting. And at that point, we would be including any of the equipment that we had planned on purchasing at that point.
Thank you. That's all, Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Okay, any other questions? Do I have a motion on item number 7, replacement of the one piece of equipment in excess of $50,000?
I'll motion to approve the replacement of the equipment.
We have a motion for approval. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8, consideration of approval of resolution of abandonment of a portion of land lying within SR 582 Boulder Highway near Pioneer Street in the city of Henderson, Clark County, state of Nevada.
Members of the board, this is an easement that we received from the BLM many years ago. We no longer need it and are asking to abandon it back to the underlying property owner.
Okay, this is just an easement. It's not a piece of property. So does anyone have any questions on the abandonment on item number 8?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
The underlying property owners of the land.
The land is fully developed. I assume that the easement was granted from the BLM, and so we still had the easement, but I assume the land may have transferred hands.
Looks like there's some parking needs or something.
Yeah.
Have to show all those.
The cemetery, right? Is that like the cemetery out there?
It is. It is. Okay. Any further questions on this one? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'm going to approve.
We have a motion of approval. Any discussion on the motion on item number 8? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 9 is public comment. This is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item, please step forward and identify yourself for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone in Las Vegas here on public comment this time? Nope. Just got staff here, huh? Okay, anybody up in Carson City on item number 9?
Governor Sisolak, I'm not seeing anyone here.
Okay, do we have any written public comment?
No, sorry.
We do not have any written public
I
comment,
was looking
okay?
for the written to say something.
Okay, I'll close public comment. We do not have an executive session,
We
correct?
do not have an executive session.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing seeing none. All in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Boy, that was eager. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Have a safe day, everyone. Thank you.
History of mankind. Has there ever been a nay on a motion to
To
adjourn?
adjourn, no, I don't-